Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little riding journey video in honor of hitting 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. I know it's not a huge milestone, but I've had this channel for a year now and I just now started deciding to be active on it, so thank you for that. I'm going to make this as easy as I can and as fast as I can because it was also very much a pain to edit this. This was my first ever time on a pony. I loved horses from ever since I was alive. So yeah, I had a horse birthday party. It was amazing. And then I started riding kind of officially in 2019. I rode Western on a horse named Haley, an American quarter horse. We loved it. It was awesome. She was the greatest horse ever, except for some mishaps. But then I decided I did not want to, well, I didn't decide. The COVID-19 hit, so I could not ride anymore. And I went to see my aunt's horses. And around Christmas time, I really started wanting to ride again, so I found this amazing barn, or so I thought it was amazing, and it seemed like the perfect place. It was fancy, the horses were lovely, they went to shows a lot, I really wanted to show, and it was just perfect. And then I went there. I had my first lesson on a 26-year-old appendix named CK, and he was just an amazing horse. He taught me so much. This was not my first lesson, this was my second lesson. I didn't get any videos for my first lesson, sadly. But I was trotting my second lesson. I was very proud of myself, but I must say I was not the best at it. We had so many fun times together. I did my first 2-point on him. I did my first posting trot, I guess, on him. And I had my first trail rides, my official trail rides on him. I rode in an outdoor arena for this first time. I had never ridden in an outdoor before. It was super fun, and he just taught me so much. I'm forever grateful for that little 26-year-old that I was probably too big for. And then I got moved onto an off-the-track thoroughbred named Rosie. She was also 25, 26. She was amazing for the first couple lessons, but then it was around the third, in about maybe November, I got thrown off of her 3 times in one lesson. It was pretty confidence knocking in terms of with horses. You wouldn't think so because I didn't get hurt, but she was just freaking out, and my trainer kind of hit her a little bit and she almost tripped and fell in rocks, but I won't go into that very much. She was a really sweet horse. She definitely had some weird little quirks about her, but I really loved Rosie. And I started riding this horse named Bayberry, also 25, 26. He's a Dutch warm blood. He's about 16 hands, I'd say. They said he's 16.3, but I just don't believe that. I loved Bayberry. I love Bayberry so much. He was a great horse. He's amazing. He's an uphill horse, and I'd never ridden an uphill horse before. It was pretty cool. And I had my first ever canter on him on January 10th, 2022. And honestly, it was great. I really loved it. I had this lesson on Rosie, and I cantered on her, which I wasn't supposed to do. She's not a good horse to canter on, but this instructor on this lesson was new to the barn, so she didn't know that. So it was kind of a scary last experience cantering at that barn. And what do you know? I was switching barns. I said goodbye to all of the horses, and I never really thought I would leave that place, but it turned out to be not so great as I thought it would be. The instructors didn't really know how to teach. The horses weren't really fit for lessons, and you could tell in some cases. I started riding at a new barn, and it was amazing, my first lesson. I don't look that good on this horse. Say yes, a 22-year-old off the track thoroughbred, which I only learned recently. And he was much bouncier, much bigger than any horse I'd ever been used to. He is 16'3". He is a lovely horse. He's so sweet, but he was definitely not something I'd been used to. We had been progressing a lot together, including me having my first canter off the lunge line in my first lesson with him ever, which is kind of just like a ride to get to know how I rode. And it was flattering that my trainer thought I was ready to canter off the lunge in my first lesson with her. We had so many great rides together. I came back super happy from almost every ride, and it was awesome. He teaches me so much. He's one of those horses where if you don't tell him what to do, he won't do it. He knows what he's supposed to do, but if you don't tell him to do it, he won't. And I think that's a really good aspect for a lesson horse to have, because they just teach you so much that way, and they're just so amazing. And then it was May again, and I had my birthday. I'm not going to tell you what day my birthday is, but I'll tell you I had my birthday. And then I had my first ever jump I had it in June I think it was, June 11th maybe, which was interesting because a year before that, I thought that I would be jumping after a month of riding. I was very wrong. I was not very smart. We had some interesting moments, as you just saw, with me getting launched out of that saddle. And we had some amazing lessons like this one, where he was just such a perfect boy. We did so much together. And he teaches me so much still today. And I'm probably never going to move barns. I love this horse so much. We had our first ever ride alone together, and I did my first proper flying lead change. This was my first lesson without a professional around. I just had my parents, Yes, and me, but Yes is a professional horse, okay? Yes is a professional horse. We did lots of stuff together. He turned very dressage-y in this little ride we had together. And then we had an amazing jumping lesson after I came back from vacation in, I think this was July. This was July, and we had an amazing jumping lesson after my vacation. He was awesome. I'm super happy with my equitation and everything. And honestly, after I had all of those bad rides on Rosie at the old place, I'm still a little frightened every time I get on a horse, because she was that horse that would be so skittish when you get on her. She would just do her own thing. You couldn't really control her unless you were more experienced. I wasn't. We had some jumping lessons. I got left behind a lot because I'm still fairly new to jumping. It's September and I only started in June. And this was probably my favorite lesson by far ever. I thought that everything about this lesson was amazing, except for the fact it was pouring down rain and my back was soaked. But honestly, this was just amazing. I had my first ever cross-country ride ever, and this was actually last week. So we're coming to the end of the little riding journey, I guess. I'm sorry it wasn't as eventful as some other ones on YouTube, but it's just kind of a normal one, switching barns, getting a better trainer. And I'm super grateful for all of the opportunities I've had with CK, Rosie, Bayberry. Yes, of course, yes, definitely yes. And I'm just so excited to see how much more we progress in the following years, and hopefully having my first show in the spring. Bye, everyone!